Infants experience stress, and what they're really experiencing is kind of the development of their stress response system. What the stress response system is essentially it's a biological way that we're all born with that allows us to respond to threat. So ideally what happens is there's some kind of a threat, something happens, our stress response system is activated so that we can really focus and deal with that threat, and then we calm back down. Infants, when they're born, their stress response system is almost kind of overactive. They can experience stress from something like a doctor's visit, but they also can show signs of stress over something, really normal, like a bath or a diaper change. And so what the first year is really about in terms of stress regulation is the infant's stress response system becoming regulated and kind of falling into a normal pattern where they're not overreacting to mild stressors and where they're not becoming overwhelmed. Instead, they fall into kind of the normal pattern that then they'll continue to have as they grow. Parents and caregivers support this developing stress response system in their infant by basically doing the normal things that parents do. So meeting the baby's needs, food, feeding them when they're hungry, taking care of them in just the ways that you take care of an infant. Responding to their emotions is another really big way that parents support this process. So responding to your child when they're happy, when they're sad, interacting with them, and finally having a secure attachment with this baby where they develop the confidence that someone is going to be there for them, that they're going to be taken care of, and that the world is a safe place and that they are safe. These are the things that really support the natural kind of development of a well-functioning stress response system in an infant. Things like neglect or exposure to violence or not having a consistent caregiver can disrupt this process. And what can happen is an infant's stress levels, instead of kind of going up and then being calmed, stress levels can rise and then stay high for an extended period of time. The stress response really prevents normal learning from taking place. So in infants, in toddlers, in preschools, if there's ongoing high levels of stress, it really absorbs any kind of attention that normally would be paid to the environment, to learning, to interacting with other people. So it's actually very disruptive to learning, as well as being very disruptive to the emotions and the emotional regulation of the child. In toddlers and preschoolers who have a stress response system that's disrupted or that's been impacted by having too much stress for too long, sometimes what you'll see is a child who becomes very upset and very emotional over relatively minor things and then is unable to calm down. So it takes them a very, very long time to become regulated again. Even children who have had a very stressful start and been in environments where they weren't given the support that they needed, and they've developed stress response systems that don't function the way they should. If these children are placed in environments where they do get what they need, they start to level out and they start to look and feel more like children who have not had these challenging early environments. So early intervention can make a big difference, and even if there's been some stressors or there have been some problems and a child, their stress response system isn't functioning quite right, we can actually help to support them towards regaining some ground and doing a lot better and getting back to the place where they can deal with stress better, deal with emotion better, and not be distracted from the learning and interacting with the environment that's really crucial at this age.